When it comes to predictions in the YouTube scene, I'm the most loud. Like I really have that. I'm gonna tell you guys how I feel, and I'm gonna let you know, brother. So when it happens, you will apologize. And so, of course, I have some misses, guys. Like, you can't be perfect. They're like going about the way I go about stuff. It's hard to be perfect, but 90% of my like aggressive takes, they land. Yes, there's like the 2% or like a couple fights that they don't land, and people are like, oh man, you're casual, man, you're fucking yeah, I don't want to hear none of that. The truth of the matter is, I'm still the self-proclaimed I know who I am when it comes to predictions. You should too, brother. In this video, guys, we're gonna be doing a tier list. This tier list is like I'm gonna rank what I think are my best picks, because some of my picks were just fucking nasty, bro. There's nothing going on this week. The week's boring, so that's how you know we're coming out with a tier list video, because I feel like these are kind of fun to do, actually. So we're gonna be telling you guys, or I'm gonna be ranking my best picks. You guys in the comments can rank it too. I'll let you guys rank it. I want to see some other people's opinion, but let me just break down the categories real quick. Peak Mystic. Like, I'm talking like I got this prediction so right. It was almost disgusting. The whole world was against me, but I got it right, and they all fucking went on their knees and they apologized, you know. That's Peak Mystic. That's like perfection. Predicting scorecards, all that. Then under that, dale. Like, I really went in there, dale. I said what was going to happen. It happened. You know what I'm saying? And it was just a beautiful pick. Third category, sleeper. These are picks that I actually think are pretty solid, but other people might not consider as solid because they might have forgot the context going up to it. So they're like, well, it was good, but it wasn't that good, Kenny. But like, no, it was actually a really good pick. You know, you just weren't hip to how important it was at the time. And then under that's all right, like good prediction, but nothing crazy, because I don't know how people didn't really see that coming. And then on the bottom is like, I don't even know how people didn't know. Like, if these is like picks I made, and I would see my comments saying, you're casual, man. I'm like, what the fuck are you guys talking about? Like, are you guys just goofy? Do you guys not understand how predictions work? Like, some people just don't make sense. So I don't even know how everyone in the world didn't pick for those people. But without further ado, let's get into the video. Starting off with a pretty solid one, in my opinion. Shara Bullet versus Matt MVP. Now, if you guys don't know, I actually dropped a video saying this fight's not going to be that close in the striking. MVP was so much superior in the striking. I was saying that before the fight. I dropped my videos. People had their opinion like, dude, MVP's overrated, though. I'm like, guys, MVP turns everyone into these wrestlers, man. And Shara, he just didn't have the boxing. I was trying to preface that, like, Shara's so kick heavy, and like when he throws those low kicks, someone like MVP could blitz into like the overhand he always throws. And I was really trying to make it obvious. Like, I actually don't know how most people didn't see this the way I saw it, because I thought this was like a really easy fight for MVP. And then Shara Bullet was the favorite, and I was like, chat, this is a Kenny underdog lock. And I was trying to get my people to put their whole house on MVP. Some listened, some didn't. If you didn't, brother, dale. Honestly, I think this is dale. I'm gonna put it in dale. I actually think this is a good pick, man. Like, I feel like in hindsight, people might be like, okay, well, I knew that was going to happen. But before that, I was like one of the few people actually picking MVP, you know, and I feel as if they were, I don't want to say overrating Shara, because Shara's not even bad, but maybe underrating MVP. They're like, Kenny, he's 40, dude. He's too old for this. Like, he's too old to beat Shara. I'm like, guys, if you think MVP's speed goes away with age, you don't know what a karate fight style is. I literally said that verbatim, but people didn't want to listen to me, man. So I feel like now they understand when I'm going really hard in these stylistic breakdowns, I probably know something you don't. So I think this is a good one. I think it was low-key underrated. I want to say peak Mystic, because like it was really good prediction, but I don't think it was like my peak Mystic. You're gonna see what goes in those categories, because my peak Mystic predictions were crazy. But next up, Topuria Charles. Like, okay, I know people, oh man, that's not even that good of a pick. Well, there's people in the world who actually thought Charles had a chance of winning. I guess it's like I was really urgent. Like, I was urging people that it's going to be a knockout. Like, Ilya is going to win. He's going to do it by knockout. I was making those videos on TikTok like before the fight, like hours before the fight. Like, oh yeah, Ilya Topuria just won. Acting like I'm from the future and shit. It hit pretty well. But I'm just going to go to the bottom tier. I don't even know how people didn't know. Like, anyone picking Charles. I did give Charles some benefits. I was like talking about Charles clinch, but I made a whole video talking about like why on paper this fight might look kind of interesting and close, but it's really not that at all. Like, it's going to be Ilya kind of going there and smoking him. I thought it was going to be the second round. Ilya even surprised me and did it in the first. So, yeah, it was just a really flawless performance by Ilya. And I kind of saw it coming, and I don't know how anyone else was kind of leaning Charles. Maybe because, like, the clinch and the size, but I knew, brother. I knew. On paper, it might look close, but in reality, dale. All right. Outside of that, let's get into this one. Let's see who knows about this. Who are these guys? This is Nakamara and Gafurov. Who are those people, man? This is a sleeper mystic pick. Guys, this was like, I don't know the actual odds, but I'm pretty sure Gafurov was like a plus 800, plus 700. You know, Nakamura was like near the minus 1,000s. That's how, and I remember I made the video. I was like, guys, the odds make no sense. They're overlooking Gafurov. I have Gafurov winning. Like, a lot of my comments are like, bro, why are you picking someone that big of an underdog? You don't know it. This is a sleeper pick. I'm not going to put it in peak mystic because some people are like, who's Nakamura? Who's Gafurov? Nakamura was undefeated. He was the biggest favorite on the card. I told you guys, that's an underdog pick I'm looking at. You guys should follow that pick. People who followed it, they understood like what I meant. Because like I was stylistically, I knew Gafurov was just relentless and he had some good wrestling to go along with it. He ends up beating Nakamura in a huge upset. And I saw it coming. Like, I'm not going to put a peak mystic because you guys like, who even are these guys, man? I don't fucking know them. People are casual maxing in the fucking comments right now. Kyle Bunga like, yeah, dude, I don't know these guys, man. But people who know, they know. And the people who know and remember this is actually a pretty big pick for me. And I made a lot of money on this pick. So, man, sometimes people think I don't know these prelim fights, man. It's not only main card fighters we're fucking cooking with, guys. I'm cooking with Gafurov, Nakamura. So, yeah, this is a really good pick by me. And I feel like it's a very underrated pick by me. All right, next up. We're going to go Dariush and Moicano. I was saying Dariush was going to win, but I remember everyone was like, dude, Moicano wants money though, Kenny. I don't know, I'm talking the Cowabunga voice the whole time, but they're like, dude, I don't know, dude, Moicano, dude, he wants money. And I'm like, guys, Dariush is so much better everywhere, and I really believed every word I said. I'll be real, it would have been 30-27 Dariush outside of that knockdown because he was destroying him in the first round. Moicano just gave up on himself. You know, I think people were picking Moicano because, like, he lost to Islam really quickly, though, but they're like, oh, but Islam's on the same, like, they wanted Islam's win to age well. I don't know. I actually had no idea why people even went Moicano in this fight. He had no chance. He had puncher's chance, sure, but everyone has that shit. And I'm not going to bet off a puncher's chance alone unless I'm trolling. And, yeah, I think this is, I'm going to say sleeper. I don't think much people, like, talk about, oh, yeah, well, Kenny, that was a great pick because no one really cares about, like, non-main event picks. But I think it was one of my sleeper picks. I feel like it was this pick that I had that people were definitely saying I was tripping at the time. But after the fact, they're like, okay, Kenny, you got that. I'll give you that. So I'm not mad at this pick. I think it's a sleeper pick. I think you guys got to open your eyes. Next up, guys, let's get a little spicy, man. Pereira Rountree and Jamal Hill. I made a video saying this fight's not close. This is going to be a one-sided whooping. I don't know. And people were saying I was stupid for this. People were saying, dude, Kenny, Jamal Hill, though, he's so fucking... I don't even know why they picked him. I don't know what they were saying for real. I kept saying that, like, Khalil just has heavy low kicks, and I kept talking about the lateral movement of Jamal and how it's going to be problematic with someone like Khalil who sets up good low kicks and is very explosive and powerful. And Jamal Hill's just not going to be as good as him. I made a whole video on it. People said under the video, like, this is going to age like milk. It's going to age like milk. Brother, it aged like fine wine because he literally beat the fuck out of him every round, 50-44 damn near. You know, I remember Jamal Hill was like mad, like, what? How's it 50-45? I should have at least won one round. I can't believe he was arguing about, anyways. Masterclass by Pereira Rountree. I saw it coming. This is a Dale prediction. Is it above? I'm not going to say above MVP Shara because MVP Shara, like, MVP was the underdog, and I was like, how? It makes no sense. This was like pick 'em odds, I believe. So I guess I see why people are split, but if you just opened your eyes and actually looked at that fight for what it was, it would have been very easy to call, guys. I ain't going to lie. All right. Next up. We're going to do this. Weili Suarez. Weili was the underdog, and I remember I was so angry. I was, like, making videos how angry I was. Like, this makes zero sense.
Zhang Weili is going to whoop Tatiana Suarez. I looked at the odds and I was very disgusted. I was very angry almost. Like, why did they just disrespect Zhang Weili and make her an underdog going to a fight against Tatiana Suarez? Now, I understand Suarez never lost a fight. She's the female Khabib, yo. She's going to go in there, she's going to ragdoll Weili. First of all, people are underestimating how physically strong Weili is and how good of a scrambler she is. Suarez is going to probably score some takedowns from single legs, but this Weili's ability to scramble and get up, that's going to be too much for Suarez. Suarez has not been 5 rounds in her life. When she's going in there with someone like Weili, who's a very explosive striker, a very well-rounded wrestler too, who does have the ability to control Suarez as the round elongates, that's when Suarez is going to get broken. I honestly see Suarez getting finished by Weili.
How can Weili be an underdog? And my chat was like, dude, but the wrestling. I'm like, you think she's going to take down and control Weili for 25 minutes? I was trying to tell people, if anyone's going to win the wrestling exchanges, it's Weili. Weili's so superior. This is like I don't even know how people didn't know. Like, I literally don't have zero idea how people had no clue that Weili was going to dominate her. I have no idea. I don't know why people sometimes just believe in fake hype that they didn't watch women's fights and looked at the odds like, yeah, I guess Suarez, she hasn't lost, man. She's so good. Guys, don't ever believe in hype like that. Like, especially that one got me mad because how do people not know about Weili fucking Suarez? It's embarrassing to me. So I'm going to put it there. Next up, we'll get a little bit solid. I actually like this pick a lot, guys. Alex Pereira, Pereira Rountree. Now, picking Alex Pereira is not the flex chat. The way I picked Alex Pereira, I was really making it evident, guys. Like, before the fight happens, I was doing like a comeback to this video on TikTok specifically, talking about like the fight's not going to be roses and bubbles for Alex Pereira.
Yes, Alex Pereira just defeated Khalil Rountree, but that wasn't as easy as you thought, was it, bro? Yes, the fight's happening in like 7, 8 hours, 9 hours, I don't know. But the point being is, I know Pereira won, but I know people are surprised about how good Khalil Rountree did, bro. The thing about Khalil Rountree, he has a lot of like good weapons that Alex Pereira seems to lack in. Like I feel like Alex Pereira lacks in defensive boxing, and I've noticed every single time someone throws a low kick at Khalil Rountree, he counters with a straight punch.
Pressuring really hard here.
And what is Alex Pereira's kryptonite? When he's been rocked by Izzy, was for what? A straight punch. Because Pereira keeps his hands very low and is very susceptible to boxing and heavy hand counters. I really do think Khalil Rountree is a guy with good straight punches and can give Alex Pereira a lot of trouble. So don't be surprised after Alex Pereira wins, but he has to go to the fight and actually earn this win because Khalil Rountree is 100% going to be game. It's going to be a great fight. Shout out Alex Pereira for getting that late fight TKO.
But I remember people would come, oh, first round knockout. I was like, guys, stylistically, Pereira struggling with straight punches. You know, Khalil being really quick and explosive. Pereira will lose the early rounds and he's going to come back and get the finish. I said that verbatim, and it happened verbatim. This is a peak Mystic Kenny prediction. Like, this is one of my best predictions as far as like predicting how a fight goes exactly and getting it right on the head. And people were saying before that, nah, dude, Pereira by easy pickings. Pereira by easy pickings. I'm like, it's not going to be easy. I'm telling you guys, he will struggle initially and then he'll find the shot later on. Exactly what happened. One of my favorite picks personally, I'll be real. I have like personal favorites. This is up there for one of them. I don't know how people didn't see this one being hard for Pereira, but like I said, styles make fights and people don't look at stylistic matchups the way I do, so they're not going to see how that's going to be close on paper. But when you realize Pereira's weaknesses happen to be some things Khalil's does well, you knew he was going to struggle. But if you also knew that Khalil Rountree fatigues, you should know that Pereira was going to get him late. That's exactly what happened. All right, moving on from that pick. This pick was all right. This is Max Holloway, Dustin Poirier 3. They just fought. I did make a video saying this is not 2019 no more, guys. It's going to be a whole different fight. Max Holloway's probably going to beat him every round damn near. And he kind of did what I said there. I wouldn't call it like, I could say it's a masterclass, to be honest. Of course, I did say Dustin would have moments no matter what, but I knew Max was going to overall be the better fighter, and that's exactly what happened. It was a good pick for me. I'm going to say all right because I feel like, yes, a lot of people were not picking Dustin. Not a lot. It was almost pick 'em odds, but Dustin was the underdog. You know, of course, Dustin had 2 wins over him. People were like, the Dustin fans were like, nah, dude, we have his numbers, not possible. But I kind of knew Max Holloway was going to win. I knew he was going to be too fast, and I knew that he put on the weight appropriately this time. That's the big thing I was prefacing. I kept saying the problem was he didn't put on the weight appropriately, so when you get touched, he'll go flying, and when he was hitting Dustin with the volume, he wouldn't go anywhere. I did make it evident that I did feel as if Max power would have been increased in this fight, and that's exactly what happened because he was dropping Dustin Poirier damn near at will, man. Like, damn near at will. Beats on him, Dr. Dre. I can't lie. So, one of my better picks, I'd say. I'm going to say all right because, like I said, not everyone was going against this point of view. All right. Moving on. Let's go into the Khamzat Whittaker fight, guys, because what's interesting about this fight is that I was saying that he was going to get it done pretty early. I thought he could finish him early, and if he didn't, I was like, I think he has the endurance to finish him later on. And that's what happened. People try to say, dude, this was a fluke though, man. It was a fluke. He broke his jaw. No, he masterclassed him. He took him down and got the square naked choke. Whittaker tapped. You tapped as a man, you quit. You quit on yourself. You know, Khamzat's wrestling was just as good as I thought it was. He goes in there, he finishes him pretty quickly. I'm not really surprised by this pick. But I remember people like, dude, this is Whittaker, man. His wrestling, dude. Yoel Romero's Olympic wrestler couldn't handle him. And I was like, okay, but Khamzat's not Yoel. You know, Khamzat doesn't have that pressure and the quickness of a Khamzat. And then they weren't really buying it, though. They weren't buying it. Like, it's a first 5-rounder. I'm telling you, he's going to stuff the takedowns. He's going to fatigue. I'm like, no, it's not going to happen like that. I like this pick a lot. I think Khamzat was still the favorite, though. So I'm going to say all right. I'll say all right. It was like all right pick. I guess I didn't predict like the exact submission and stuff, so it's not going to be too high. But I do think people were like banking on Whittaker winning because it was a 5-rounder. But I was trying to tell people, you guys are banking on it going 5 rounds. That's your first mistake. That's the first mistake you're banking on, guys, because I just don't see it going that long. All right. Next up, we're going to go Sean Brady Gilbert Burns. For some reason, I'm pretty sure there was like a pick 'em odd fight. I don't even know if Brady Burns was the favorite. And I made a comeback to this video for it. So I knew that like at the time, a lot of people were saying Burns was going to win because Sean Brady just lost to Belal Muhammad, dude. And the only reason Burns lost to Belal was because he had a broken arm. Sean Brady lost him because he just sucked. At the time, this was actually a pretty good pick. I'm going to go sleeper pick because now people look back and be like, okay, of course he's going to win. But I'm telling you, at the time, they were saying Belal ran through Sean Brady. Sean Brady's a nobody. I was telling people, no, Brady's better in the striking and in the grappling. But you aren't going to hear me out. You're not going to believe me. So whatever, man. But when it happens, I told you so. No one really cares about this as much, though, because, like I said, it's like not a huge fight. So I'm going to say sleeper pick. And it was a good pick, in my opinion. One of my most slept on, the ones I like the best. Next up, let's go with Merab Suga, Sugar Sean O'Malley. I've debated bedtime on this one.
I had a really good reply ready. Can you just say
You
it
didn't
again?
have a good reply, right?
What you just did?
But
I did, bro. Can you just say it again without the Leon Edwards glaze?
oh yeah, the whole point
That's
I was
true.
making is when Suga, like I compare Suga and Leon in the sense that when they have space, their striking looks the best. When Leon dictates when he
Right.
enters and exits, he looks the best. Same with Suga. We've seen it with Cheeto. He looks great when he dictates it. However, when you're smothered and you don't have the spacing to throw your punches, that's when your striking level looks mediocre. Which is why we see like what happened with Belal and Leon, what happened with Peter Yan and Merab and Aldo. Like Aldo and Yan are 10 times the striker Merab will ever be. They didn't have the spacing to get their shots off, so they're getting frustrated, constantly stuffing takedowns. Which is why I look at the Suga fight and I see something very similar happening, if not more significant, because I don't think Suga has the defensive grappling of Aldo.
Hold on one sec. My cat's trying to leave, but I have a good. That's a good point. I have a good rebuttal. Hold on.
Okay, I'm gonna wait for his rebuttal chat. I've made it evident that I feel as if Merab was gonna go in there and cook him. You know, people were banking on that Aljo fight to happen. I was like, guys, first of all, Aljo would have beat him without that. But I'm telling you, it was just a punch that he happened to catch Aljo with, because Aljo's a lot more telegraphed on his takedown entries than a Merab. And I was like, Merab's relentlessness is going to break him. This was the first fight. You guys are forgetting that everyone was saying Suga was going to win. I think I was the only YouTuber who actually picked Merab, like out of the big ones. You know, I know, but at bedtime went Suga. Of course, what's his name? Guru went Suga. I think Lucas went Suga as well the first time around. Actually, I'm not sure about Lucas, but everyone else, from what I know, most of them were going Suga, and that's just not what happened. Merab beats on him, Dr. Dre, hands on him, lots of base. I like this pick a lot. I think I even predicted a scorecard on this.
I'm assuming it went the distance. It was a unanimous decision win for Merab. There's no way that it went to the distance and it was a split decision or none of that bullshit. It's going to be a unanimous decision for Merab, probably 49-46 on the scorecard.
The judges' scorecards for decision. Judges score the contest 49-46.
I'm not even sure. I think I did. I'm going to go Dale, though. I'm going to go Dale, because at the time, it was, you know, it was more of a controversial, like, I don't know who's going to win fight. In the rematch, everyone kind of woke up, but before that, that's not the case at all. So, as long as you guys remember that, my friend. All right, next up, let's go with... We only have a couple more here. Let's go Ilya Max. This one, why it was a good pick to me, like, yeah, it was kind of close. Like, people are forgetting, like, before that fight, they were saying it could be close. Like, it was saying Max volume could get to him. Max has great endurance. How's Ilya going to do in the later rounds? I think what makes this a good pick for me is because I said Ilya was going to knock him out, and they're like, Kenny, Max chin, dude. Max is not getting chin, man. Like, they were just saying his chin's unbreakable and shit. And I was like, are you sure about that, man? I think he's going to get chinned. And he ultimately got chinned. It was a good pick at the time. I'm going to just say all right. You know, it wasn't crazy, but it was all right, in my opinion. That's the best way to put it. Good finish. And I made one of those comeback to his videos for this as well, because I was like very, very like confident in myself. I knew what was going to happen in this fight. So, yeah, now we have everything left, guys, are pretty solid picks. We're going to start with the iconic Belal Muhammad, Leon Edwards, guys. This one was a great one, guys. This was like my first comeback to this video. I predicted the scorecards. I predicted the pressure. I predicted exactly how the fight goes.
I know what's going to happen. I know he's the underdog. I know everyone's down him, but I just know for sure that he's going to go in there and outwork and out-wrestle and outpace Leon Edwards. And then Leon's coach will be like, Leon, wake up, Leon. Stop letting him bully you, Leon. It comes down to this round. And then Belal's going to beat him in the fifth, too.
You fucking go and win this last round. You gotta stop him, Leon.
And imposing his will. That is what he's going to do with Leon Edwards. That's how he just beat Leon Edwards. I'm assuming the fight went the distance, and it was like a 49-46 on one scorecard, 48-47 on two other ones.
We go to the judges' scorecards for decision. The judges score the contest 48-47, 48-47, and 49-46.
I've never predicted a fight perfectly to a T like this. You know, the Khalil fight was close in the aspect I predicted that in, but I got all judges' scorecards, you know, so this is going to go peak Kenny. I'm going to put this as the best prediction I've ever had, you know, and I think Belal was the underdog going into this. Belal was looked over. People were looking at the first Leon Edwards-Belal fight before the eye poke, and I was like, guys, Belal came out tentative. Belal coming out tentative, most of the times he's going to lose the fight. If Belal comes out aggressive and just brings the pace and breaks Leon Edwards, it worked to his detriment perfectly. That's what happened. It worked to his benefit perfectly. He went in there and he imposed his dominance. Exactly what I said, verbatim. Scorecards, exactly what I said. I even said that he could have a little bit of a moment, but it's not going to be enough. Everything I said happened in this fight. People think I'm from the future. People think that video was recorded in advance. That's how perfect this Mr. Kenny prediction was, you know. This put Mr. Kenny on the map. Fun fact. This prediction alone, because I was getting comments like, how the hell did you get the scorecard right? That's weird as fuck. And I was like, dude, I just knew what was gonna happen. This is like this was the Kenny pick and one of my favorites for sure. That's going on the highlight reel for sure. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I am proud of that pick too. That pick still has me cheesing, man. Has me cheesing. All right. Next up, we're gonna go Sean Brady Leon Edwards, guys. This was like, I don't know the odds for this. I swear it was pick'em. It was like a very close fight. I think Leon was a favorite, I think, you know. And I remember this was short notice for Sean Brady because something happened to someone else. I think it was supposed to be Leon and Shavkat or something. It was supposed to be someone, I forgot. But I remember it wasn't supposed to be Sean Brady initially, but Sean Brady stepped in. Oh, it was JDM. It was JDM, and then JDM ends up getting a different fight with Belal, right? That's what happened, yes. I was like, guys, Leon Edwards is going to beat JDM. He's going to beat JDM stylistically. I think that's going to work. And then the fight gets switched to Sean Brady. I was like, guys, he's not going to beat Sean Brady. Like, I feel bad for him. I knew it wasn't going to beat it. I know it's short notice for Sean Brady, but I just knew that Sean Brady was going to fight with the style of, like, coming forward and just being an aggressor. And that's exactly what it was. This is one of my favorite picks, man, because I swear people were underrating how good Sean Brady was. I said Sean Brady was going to melt through him. He's going to finish him. He's going to get the submission or it's going to be points, and it was a submission. This is a good pick by me. I'm going to go into Dale for this one. I'll go Dale, like, up there. This is one of my better picks. I do like the fact that I picked this one correctly, and I didn't know what was going to happen. I was very confident in this one. Like, I'm normally confident to an extent, so it definitely had me in that benefit. But last but not least, Magomed Ankalaev and Alex Poatan Pereira. What? Okay, so I have my perfect picks, my favorites, and then I have my most satisfying picks. This was definitely my most satisfying, you know. And what pissed me off about this one is when I was saying Ankalaev was going to have the striking advantage, people were saying, you don't know what you're talking. Striking advantage, he's a wrestler. The striking advantage, they're so insistent on talking about he needs to wrestle. And does he need to wrestle? Yes. Well, let me rephrase that. Does he need to wrestle? No. Would wrestling make it easier to win? Yes. I believe that Ankalaev found a shot on the feet that 100% hurt Alex Pereira. There's no doubt in my mind. You can't tell me that this fight happened and Ankalaev did not have a moment on the feet. Now, does that mean he's going to knock him out cold? I don't know. I can see it as a possibility, though. It's more likely that Magomed Ankalaev wins by KO than Alex Pereira winning by KO. It's more likely that if it goes the distance, it's going to be a 25-minute MMA fight that's going to favor Ankalaev. You know what I'm saying? When you're the dictator in the fight, it's going to open up striking. So after Ankalaev does outstrike him or have a better striking performance, I know people on Twitter are going to run like, he only outstruck him because of the takedown defense. When the truth of the matter is, without the takedown threat or whatever, Ankalaev was already the better boxer. Oh my God, how lost people were before this fight kind of pissed me off a little bit. I'll be transparent. I was like, they don't even know what they're talking about. He's not gonna know how to strike. Can't strike with Alex, bro. I pointed out how every single weakness Alex had happened to be a positive for Ankalaev. Like everything he struggles with, Ank happens to be good at. Struggling with straight punches, Ank's great at that. Stuff like that. Like people weren't opening their eyes to those opinions because they were like, dude, you just hate Pereira. They were trying to say I just hate Pereira. I remember my pinned comment from one of my videos. I was like, okay, I hate Pereira, right? I can't wait till you guys come back to this comment. I've never been more confident in a pick ever. You know, Leon Belal was pretty confident, but this one I had no doubt in my mind. Like I knew what was gonna happen. That's the most confident I've ever been, and it was so satisfying to see all the Potards cry. And when I got this pick right, I'm gonna go Peak Mystic. Will it be above the Leon Belal? Shiba. I'm gonna say not quite. Because that scorecard call was low key perfect. I can't lie, but yeah, man. Like other than that, these are my best picks, man. Like I'll probably say there's so much more. I can't put every right pick I got because they're not all mystic oriented. But most of these picks or all these picks, I went hard for. Like there's not a single pick for. I was like, I didn't know, man. Maybe this. I was like, no, this is gonna happen. It's gonna happen this way. And this is gonna happen. And all these picks ended up coming true. You know what I'm saying? I think everything in Peak Mystic were disgustingly accurate. The ones in Dale were beautiful too and like great IQ. But these Peak Mystic predictions, I don't think it gets better than that. You can't find any YouTuber with more confident picks that aced it on the head as good as me. Mr. Kenny's real. Mr. Kenny's alive. And don't worry, guys. Sugar Duplessis Hamza's coming out. You'll see Mr. Kenny very soon. But let me know what you guys think about this video. Let me know what you guys think is my all-time best pick. That's it for me. And God bless. 2, 3, 4.